Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert with the Ted Show. We're back. One of my favorite things is to interview and talk with anybody who's got musical talent. And my guest, Tori Martin, certainly has that. Welcome to the show, Tori.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. Guys, just so you know, scrolling across the bottom there, we have a link to fun, which we're going to talk about. We'll talk about what would Dolly do.
Yeah.
Love all of this. And then, of course, the other link is to Tori's homepage. Her URL, her website. So check it out. All right. So the audience always loves origin story, Tori. So tell us a little bit about you and your musical background.
Sure. Well, obviously, my name is Tori Martin, and I'm from a small town in Texas. Grew up in the South, military brat, finally landed in Texas at the age of 7, and it's in a small town called Azle. But I moved to Nashville in 2017, so I currently live in Nashville. And yeah, I've been in music since I was about 14 years old, and my birthday's at the end of the month, so I'll be 26. It's wild how it all just has played out. But
were you always a performer as a kid?
Yes, I actually didn't come from a musical family, so I was kind of an oddball. My family was like, what do we do with this one? Because just was not normal. But yeah, I used to love and grab like a dining room chair and put it underneath a hall light, like, because that was my spotlight, and sing I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, like with my hairbrush. Just go to town. So yeah, I was definitely a performer way back when they knew.
Yeah, if you didn't come from a family of performers, then yeah, you must have definitely been the oddball out sometimes. A lot of kids have they love music. They don't decide, or they don't realize that they have the talent to do it as a career. What was the turning point then? When did you go from hairbrush to real microphone and performing on stage? When did that all happen?
Sure. So it was around the age of 14. I loved music. My pawpaw, he's now in heaven, but knew how much I loved to sing. Bought me my first guitar. He actually was always like, girl, you need to follow your dreams. Just keep singing and do it. So I always credit him, because if he didn't encourage me, I don't think I would even be on this interview with you today. But when I was 14, I was singing in the church choir. And I'm like, I know that sounds cliche, because every country singer's like, I was singing in church. And I was singing in church, and the sound engineer happened to be a producer. He was like a Grammy Award-winning producer, and he was like, whoa, I think you have a little bit more than just raw talent, like this little girl who can sing. And so I started working with him around 14 years old, and that's what got me into the music business.
And so at 14, you're going through so much. You must have had an incredible passion for it, because that's the time where it's boy crazy and school crazy, and it's just a crazy adolescent lifestyle. But you were focused on the music. You didn't let that go.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate to say that I've always known what I wanted to do with my life. I remember in second grade in particular, they were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I told them, well, I'm going to be a famous singer. I just knew, and it's just so funky, but I knew that's what I wanted. I wanted to do something with music, and I love singing and performing. That was kind of my passion. And so, yeah, I was homeschooled so that I could take vocal lessons and learn piano and guitar, music theory. I really wanted to just absorb myself and everything and truly go at this full force. But yeah, I was definitely passionate. Still am.
Do you get involved in the process of creating the music, choosing the music? What's the process like for you? Because you're vocal, but I just heard you say that you learned how to play, well, obviously the guitar, but piano, music theory. So as you're embracing that, what part of the process are you involved with?
Yeah, all of it at this point, all of it. In the beginning, when I was first starting out, I didn't realize that I could also be a songwriter, not just a singer. I just thought, oh, I'm just going to sing and record the songs. And there's nothing wrong with that. People do it. But I didn't realize that there was an opportunity for me to kind of become even deeper as an artist into my artistry. And so I started songwriting around 16. And so, yeah, I do write my songs, like Fun, What Would Dolly Do? I wrote those songs, and typically do it with co-writers, but yeah, no, I play guitar on stage. I play piano, all the fun
Where do you
stuff.
come up with the ideas for the song? I mean, obviously, I want to ask about both of those songs. Where did you come up? What was the inspiration for Fun?
You know, every song is different, and I'm sure artists or songwriters will tell you this. Literally, the inspiration strikes so differently for every song, and I call them my song baby. I don't know what other people call them. I'm like, they become like your baby. And so each one is so different. But for Fun, what's hilarious about that is we got into the room, we were writing, we were like, I need one more song for the album because I have an album coming out. And looking for something in particular that I just didn't have. And we actually started writing. I don't even know what we were writing, but we're writing into something for about 40 minutes. And usually most people who are like songwriters know if you are already in that window, like you've hit a wall and you're probably going to just walk away with nothing. But out of nowhere, just inspiration struck. And I was kind of talking about frustrations with our schedules pre-COVID. This was before this time. But like I would be like, hey girl, you want to go get a drink or you want to get coffee? Let's catch up. And it's like, oh, I'll pencil you in. I'll see when I can fit you in. You know what I mean? Like we just didn't have time. It's like, wow, come on. Like I live 10 minutes from you. And it's so funny that we don't see each other as much. So that's what really struck it. And we started writing, and what do you know? There's Fun.
I love the title. I think we need some more fun discussions in our worlds. What was it like album wise though? Do you still call it an album? I don't know what.
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like I date myself when I say album.
No.
What's the process like there? Because I think there's a lot of, before we went live, we had questions across the board about people who I think have a motivation, they think they have a talent, they want to get into the business. So what's that process like from your perspective? When you're making an album, is it the same as you recording something at home on well, you don't have tape recorders anymore. That's what we used to do. But you know what I mean, at home, and you're kind of working on your own, completely different when you're in a studio.
It's totally different, but I know what you're talking about. We use like voice memos on our phones and we call them a workflow. So similar, but yeah, no, it's completely different from that. I feel like in the stage of when you're recording on your phone or a device at home, it's like the groundwork. It's like the first draft. You know what I mean? Like you got to perfect it, and you got to go take that song. You need to go play it out and see do you like singing it this way? Do you not like that melody? Maybe we should change these lyrics right here. I feel like that's definitely the beginning stage of it. And then when you go into the studio, it's like, this is the final product. Of course, like ideas happen in there. That's why you're in the studio, because most songs are written with a vocal and an instrument. And then when you go into the studio, like all the other instruments come into play and the layers and fun things, but your lyrics and your melody is going to have like finality, and you're like, I'm going to do this thing. And I don't know, I get like butterflies, and
I get excited for you if you're talking about it, right? Well, it is your baby. It's your product. If you're an artist of any kind, a creative of any kind, your end product, what you're working on or toward, that is your baby. It becomes something that you birthed, you created. And so I 100% understand. Never written a song, but I am respectful of that process. So that brings up, what would Dolly do? I'm assuming that's a reference to Dolly Parton. I absolutely love her. She's amazing. Where did that song come from?
So I am a diehard Dolly fan. Good golly, Miss Dolly, I love you. I just love that woman to death. And like I said previously, I used to sing I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, which was one of my favorite songs as a kid. I didn't even know it was written by Dolly Parton. So she just inspired me my entire life, even as a little girl. And so I've always loved her. I cover like Jolene and I Will Always Love You, a couple of her songs like in my shows. And everyone's always like, Tori, you got to write a song about Dolly. And I'm like, that's too much pressure. Don't put that pressure on me. I can't do it. She's the queen, you know? And so finally I had some inspiration strike, and I got this song to write, what would Dolly do? And I went to Dollywood for the very first time. I visited in the summer, and I went to her museum. It's like free if you visit. And I went in there, and there were these handwritten letters that she wrote to her parents. And she was like 17 or 18 years old and writing them, you know, about moving to Nashville. And I don't know if I'm going to make it, but don't worry about me. It's going to be okay. And then you'd read some other letters. And she was like, don't worry. I have some people interested in who are going to cut my songs, and like Life on the Road with Porter Wagner, just all this stuff. I'm like, wow, like it really brought it into perspective for me. I think we forget when stars are so big in any career that they started where you're at. They've been where you're at. And that really it brought me there. And I was like, oh my gosh, what would Dolly do? She was in my shoes. That's what inspired it.
Because she's been in them in her way. She's been the artist that's getting kicked off, that's kicking off their career, that's really being involved in all of the process like you are. And she's, you know, she was very career oriented, still is. She knows her stuff, man. I have a lot of respect for her. I think she's an amazing artist, an amazing businesswoman. She's just got it all and always seems to have a great sense of humor. So I have to say I laughed when I heard the title, but laughed in a good way. Like, this is good. I kind of figured that's where you're going with that. But I love those kinds of songs, because I know that it comes from, we want to know the meanings of stuff, right? We want to know why you wrote that, what you were thinking. What's it like on stage? We had that question too. What's it like performing your own music on stage? It's one thing to sing I Will Always Love You, which is a hard song, by the way. But it's another thing to perform something you created from the get-go.
It's totally different. It's wild. Like we were talking about how each song becomes like your child, you've birthed it. And so it can be like very vulnerable, depending on the song. Like if it's a ballad, it's like, wow, I'm putting my diary out there, so to speak. But at the same time, it's so rewarding, especially when people like resonate with your music and they relate to it. And it's like, wow, I've been through that situation. Or they're jamming out and they're having fun and they love your song and they're singing the words. I can't even describe what it is like, but it's incredible. It's an amazing feeling.
So talk about your album.
Yes. So
are you able to talk about that? Sorry, Sherry, if I'm not allowed to ask that.
A little bit. Yeah. So I do have a forthcoming album called Lucky, and I'm really, really excited to share this with everyone. This will be, let's see, my last release of an album was in 2016. So this is a long time coming. Wow. And very excited about this project. I worked on it with Bill Warner at Omni Sound here in Nashville, Tennessee, recorded there, very famous studio. And so it just kind of was full circle for me. This project, I really feel like shows who I am as an artist more than any other project I've done. And so that's really exciting and scary and cool for me. I'm really excited to put it out into the world, and yeah, I hope everybody loves it.
What do you do during COVID, since we're all in this uncertain time? Normally, I would imagine you would be going out and promoting the album by performing live in front of a real audience, you can see physically, not on a laptop. What are you doing now? What are the plans? Are you going to do a lot of Zoom concerts? I'm making this up as I go. What are your plans?
Key phrase, making up as you go. I feel like everybody in the music industry is kind of making it up as they go right now. But lots of fun things in the works, lots of cool things happening. I have a music video coming out very soon. And so we have some really neat ideas on what we're going to do. But yeah, we're talking about like a virtual concert thing that is going to be rolling out, because we can't traditionally do what artists do, which is go out and play shows and promote your album. So we're going to do things, we're going to get creative and use the technology that we have. So yeah, lots of cool things.
Before I ask you about the technology, I have to say that Miss Charlie Adair Reynolds, friend of the show, she's been on the show a few times. She said, oh my God, hey, Tori.
Hey, hi, Charlie.
So technology, I think before COVID, it would be difficult to convince somebody to go to a webinar, webinar's boring, a live on Zoom kind of a performance. But now we're all kind of used to it. I think people are engaging in it, and it's opening up more doors.
Sure.
I think you're going to see a lot of people watch your concert live when we do go live, your concerts, and they're also going to have an opportunity because a lot of the promoters are including digital. And so you're going to be able to be here in Orlando if you're performing in Nashville and still have great seats and still see it. And I think that's coming, but that's going to be good for you all, I feel like. What do people not know about? I think you all make it very easy on the promotion side where, well, of course, I'm on iTunes and Spotify and whatever all of these different things are. It's not as easy as it seems, correct? What is there a process for you to get your songs on the platforms where people can listen?
Sure. I mean, it's not just like, oh, hey, I go put this in. Like, you have to like line up all the correct things on like the business side. But luckily I have for the longest time done it all independently on my own. But this year in 2020, I've been working with the team. And like I said, I feel like just everything's kind of coming full circle, and it's very exciting. And it takes a lot of pressure off my plate because I'm always like, did I spell that correctly? Did I do this right? I don't know. And like, you're so stressed out. Like, not only you're stressed out about your song, but now it's like, did I put all that information in right? Probably not. I'm not the most tech-savvy person.
It's a lot. I just want people to understand that it's a lot of work what you all do. What you are doing, it's not like you just, quote unquote, get to be the star, the performer, the focus. You have so many other things going on. Just like any business, you have a lot of layers that you're dealing with, and it takes a lot to get out there. So, and it's a different world than when I grew up. There's so many options of getting the music. And so, back in the day, I used to work at Musicland, which is a music store in a mall. All things foreign to most people these days, but we could only buy it there. That's where you went and physically purchased it and then physically put it. This is a completely different world.
It is wild. Yeah, I remember getting Britney Spears CD when I was 5, so I could listen to the one
when she was 5.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
I'm gonna need a cocktail after this. When you were 5.
Oh my gosh! That's so funny.
That's right. You just said you're 26. You're my youngest daughter's age. Yeah.
What? No
crazy.
way.
26. All right. So what's up next? You're gonna release. Is there a date?
I don't want to say it because it's
all right,
like,
don't say it. All right, don't curse it.
Like,
I won't.
Literally so soon, sooner than you think soon. I'll say that because I'm not jinxing nothing. It's always in showbiz. It's bad to say.
And where do they go to the torimartin.com/home to find out about the release and where they can? Is that the best way for them to reach out and learn more?
Sure, you can always look at my website, but if you want like sneak peeks behind the scenes, go to my Instagram at Tori Martin Official. I post stuff all the time. I'm into all kinds of crazy stuff like home renovations. I do interior.
Yeah, you've got that going on, right? Plus we share the fact that we both have 2 beautiful golden retrievers. I have 2, and Tori has 2. But I think that it's awesome what you're doing, and I appreciate you spending time. I want to see you succeed. I love your energy, and I am.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think it's amazing, and so we put the link to Fun here. We'll put the links when we share the shows to other songs, because I think I got sent What Would Dolly Do, the link to that too, and I'll just put it all out there for everybody. I wish you so much luck. I'd love for you one day, when all things are good, to come back on and sing a few notes for me. Yes. I would absolutely love that. My audience, I know, would love that. But thank you. God bless you. Amazing work you're doing. I know you're going to be incredibly successful.
Thank you so much, Ted. Thanks for having me on, and God bless you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Reach out to Tori, thetorimartin.com. Go there.
Bye, y'all.